This is chapter number 7 of your book. Now, this is talking about an important aspect of nature, that is weather, and how it affects us in our daily life. It affects us greatly in our daily life. Like if we are planning an event, let's say your school is planning a sports day event, so they will check what kind of weather condition it is, because it should not be too hot. Sports days are generally done outside. It should not be rainy. So all these things are kept in mind when we are planning an event. So weather is one important factor when we are planning an event. Then travel, like where you are going, what kind of weather will be there, what kind of clothes you need to carry. So that is determined by the weather of a place. Then again, going on a holiday, I have given you an example. Travel, here if I say like if you are commuting by air, then you will manage the time. Like if you are going in winters, because of the foggy conditions, the flights are delayed, the trains are delayed, so you manage your time accordingly depending on the weather. Now there are livelihoods of people like farmer, fishermen, labourers, peddlers, this is potters, this is all directly dependent on the weather. Farmers are very dependent on the weather. Again, fishermen, they have to go face the open sea. If it is a stormy condition, they won't be able to do their fishing. It will be risky for them. So all this is weather affects the livelihood of these people also. Then even our recreational activities, like activities which we do in our free time, are also based on weather conditions. If it is bright, sunny and hot, we would prefer to do activities inside. We might listen to the music, read some books. If it is pleasant, then we might go out for picnics and we might go out for cycling and things like that. So even our recreational activities are dependent on weather. So you know how greatly the weather impacts on a person. If in fact there was a study which said people which live in countries, in cold countries, like which have severe cold seasons, then these people are actually, they all suffer from lots of mental problem also. So you see how the weather is affecting them even psychologically. Okay. So a daily weather report. Now you've seen in a newspaper, you see a daily weather report which appears in the newspaper news channel. So these this give us temperature, which is the maximum temperature of a place, or minimum temperature of a place. That means to what extent the temperature rose up and to what extent the temperature fell down. The maximum temperature is generally taken in the noon time, and minimum temperature is the temperature which is taken in the early morning time. Okay. Then it tells us about the humidity, that means the amount of water vapor that are present in the atmosphere. So that is the humidity of that place. It generally comes in the form of percentage. So it is called the relative humidity of a place. Okay. So then rainfall, wind speed and direction. All this is mentioned in a weather report. Whether there will be rainfall, sometimes there is a hailfall, there is a snowfall in places where they have the snowfall. Then wind, sometimes the wind is very less, sometimes the wind is very high speed winds. So all this is mentioned in a weather report, and also the weather report gives us a forecast of the next day, like what kind of day will that be. Okay, and who does all these weather reporting and the weather, collection of the data regarding this weather? That is done by the meteorological department. This is a government agency which does the weather forecasting and also the weather reporting. They collect all the data and then they send it to the various news channels, or the news channels collect it from them. And the people who study the weather are called meteorologists, and now they have very good equipments to study the weather. They get satellite images, they have blimps which are actually circulating in the atmosphere, and lots of computerized data is collected, and then they formulate the weather report of a place. Now, if I have to define weather, I will say weather is the atmospheric condition on a particular day. Please mark this line: on a particular day at a place with respect to temperature, humidity, rainfall, speed and direction of the wind. Okay, so it is on a particular day and of a particular place. Now weather changes from place to place and day to day. change? We know it is sun. So the sun is the reason behind the changes in weather. Sun actually is the only source of heat and light to us. Okay, so sun gives out electromagnetic waves which give us light and heat. And they come to us in form of radiation, but when they are crossing the earth, now earth has a huge amount of atmosphere over it. So some of these rays are absorbed by the sun, by the surface of the land. Some of them is absorbed by the air, and some of them is reflected back by the air, and some of them is absorbed by the land surface also, and reflected back also. Now the quality of the quantity of the sunlight received by an area, by a place is called insolation. Okay, so here by an area is called insolation, and there is the variation in insolation happens. We know the weather changes, the season changes happening because of the revolution of the earth and the inclination of the earth's axis. But these are the fixed changes that will happen. So when I talk of weather, I am not talking of fixed changes. The fixed pattern of the weather we will cover in the part when we cover climate. Okay, so here I am talking of the day-to-day changes that are happening in the atmosphere, or in the atmosphere or environment of a place. So if you, as I told you, the heat of the sun is absorbed by the land, it is absorbed by the atmosphere, and if there is a water body, it is reflected back by the water body. Some amount of heat of course is absorbed. Even the air particles reflect some light away, okay, some heat away. So this, if the heat that they are receiving or they are absorbing is too high, that will lead to higher temperature. If the heat they are absorbing is less, then it will lead to lower temperature. Okay. Now let's say there is a water body present in that area. So when the sunlight is falling on that water body, lots of water vapors are being formed. So when these water vapors form, they increase the humidity of that area. Okay, so more water vapors forming, that means the humidity of the area increases. Now heating of land surface, if the land surface gets heated up, let's say a land area is very rocky with very less trees. Trees also absorb some amount of heat energy. So if there is less of trees, so the land surface gets heated very fast. So when it starts heating up, the air which is near to the land surface will also become lighter, it will expand and it will go up. So then where there is no air, that will create a low pressure kind of an area, and lots and lots of wind from the surrounding area, of air from the surrounding area which is cooler, will try to cover up that area where there is no air right now, because the air has risen up. So this moving air, this factor which makes the air particles move toward the area which is a low pressure area, will cause the winds to blow. So if you actually see rainfall, temperature, wind, snow, this is all caused by sun. So sun is the factor which is causing changes in our weather. Now we come to elements of weather. So the factors which determine the weather of a place are called the elements of weather, and these factors are temperature, the maximum and minimum temperature, the amount of humidity which is there, the wind speed and the wind direction, as well as the rainfall falling in that place, or precipitation in that place. Okay, so all these are the elements of the weather. Okay, now this is what you see, these are the elements that I am mentioning which you see in a weather report. So what is the first one? The maximum and minimum temperature. If you see in a weather report, you will find the maximum and the minimum temperature of a place mentioned. So maximum temperature is the highest temperature which has been recorded in the 24 hours, and this is the temperature which generally reaches around noon. Okay, post noon, little after the noon time, you will find the place being most warm, and that is when it is recorded. Okay, and the lowest temperature is the time which is in the early morning time, when the surroundings are cooler, also have remained cool for a very long time, the sunlight is not there, so they remain cool for a long time. So it is the early morning period when the lowest temperature is recorded. Now it is done by a special thermometer. Your normal laboratory thermometer will not give you a recording of maximum and minimum temperature. The reason why we use a special kind of thermometer is because they record. Okay, so these are the temperature which, these are the thermometer which record the maximum and the minimum. See, if you use a normal thermometer, it will give you the temperature of the place, but when the temperature changes, it will change, the reading will change. But if you want to know what was the maximum temperature that temperature reached, to what maximum levels, then you need to use a special kind of thermometer, and which is commonly called the maximum minimum thermometer, and this is the commonest form of maximum thermometer, minimum thermometer that we use is the 6S thermometer. This thermometer was designed by a British scientist, name was James 6. So it is based on his name only, 6S thermometer, and this thermometer uses both alcohol and mercury to give you the temperature reading. The alcohol will make the temperature fall and rise, and mercury is used as an indicator. So when it reaches the maximum level, this mercury will stop at that level, okay, and it will remain there till the time you set it again for the next day. Similarly, minimum temperature, it will fall down to the minimum level, the mercury will remain there till the time it is again reset. So this temperature is again reset every day. Okay. Now we come to this thermometer is again reset every day. Now we come to the second factor, the second element, which is the wind. Now winds can, as we know, can make a place cooler, and winds can make a place warmer. So when winds blow from the direction which is in the cooler region, which is coming with the winds are blowing from cooler region, the place becomes cooler. When the winds are blowing from the hot and dry region, the winds become, the place becomes warmer. Like we have a very common example. During summers, the winds which we feel, which come to us, are the winds which are coming from the desert region. So we feel dry, hot winds coming. Similarly, the winds which come in the winter region, they come from the northeastern side, which is the colder side of India, the Himalayas. So we call the northeastern monsoon winds, and they bring cold wave to India. The winds that bring rainfall to India are called the southwestern monsoon winds, and they bring rainfall to India. So wind is an important factor in determining the weather of a place. The third factor, the third element is humidity. Humidity, as you all know, is the amount of water vapor that is present in the air. And this, if you see a weather report or if you see your AccuWeather, you will see that this is given in form of percentage. Okay, so what is the meaning of percentage? If it is given in form of percentage, it is called relative humidity. And relative humidity means it is the percentage between the amount of water vapor that is present at that temperature and the maximum water vapor that can be present at that temperature, and you take out a percentage of it. So the formula will be the amount of water vapor at that temperature upon maximum amount of water vapor air can hold at that temperature, and you find a percentage out of it. So this is called the relative humidity of the place. If the place has lots of water vapor present in it, we call the place very humid, and if the place has less water vapor present in it, we call it very dry. So, and this is one important factor. Humidity is measured by an instrument which is called hygrometer. Please do not write it as hydrometer, though it is related with water, but hydrometer is something else. The humidity is measured by hygrometer. Okay, so that was about humidity. Now we come to rain. See, when the clouds have got enough of water vapor, these water vapor condense and they turn back into water, and this, when the clouds are not able to hold this water, they start falling in the form of precipitation. If it is falling at a very cold place. They might fall in the form, or if the temperatures are very less, they might fall in the form of snow or hail. Otherwise it falls in your normal rain kind, water droplets fall down. Okay, so it is rain. And this is measured by rain gauge, which is an instrument to measure the amount of rainfall falling in an area. So this instrument is a box which has a funnel attached to it, and in that funnel is a measuring cylinder. Okay, so the amount of rainfall falling in that area, that funnel will collect all the rainfall, and in that measuring cylinder you will get a measure of it. Now this box is half dug in the soil so that you do not get the splash falling in that cylinder, in the funnel. Okay, so this is how the rainfall will be measured in the cylinder. The amount of rainfall that is fallen, it will all be collected in that cylinder, and this is how you know how much rainfall fell. And this is measured in millimeters. So the reading that you will be getting will be in millimeters. Okay, now we come to the climate. Okay, so climate is basically the long-term average weather conditions. So the weather, you know, changes in a place from day to day, sometimes even at hourly basis. But we keep a record of this weather, and if a pattern is seen in this weather, let's say 25 years of weather records are compared, and you can find out the average weather conditions remain this kind only at a particular time. So that makes the meteorologists decide on the climate conditions of that place. So climate is a long-term average weather conditions, and they will be the record of almost 25 to 30 years is considered by meteorologists when they decide on the weather or on the climate of that place. Okay, so weather and climate, since it is taking such a long duration of time, you can compare a bigger area when you are forming a climate of that area. And whereas weather will change from a small places, so weather is for small places and for a small duration of time. Climate is basically the average weather conditions which persist at a particular time in a year, and that they are compared, and then you decide on the climate, that this is the climate. Like we know, every year we will have rainfall during the month of July till September end. So that makes Indian weather, that is why we call it as a tropical monsoon weather. Okay, so because we know that this is the time then when the whole of India will be under monsoon winds, and that is why we call this kind of climate as Indian climate as a tropical monsoon climate. Okay, so similarly, what are the factors that affect a climate? We know this is something that we've studied in our geography. So we know latitude. Latitudes are the imaginary lines which run from east to west on Earth. And the centermost or the biggest parallel or the latitude is the equator. Now this equator is the place where the sun rays will be falling. The whole year it will be receiving equal amount of insolation. That means equal amount of sun rays. So if the place is nearer to the equator, that means it is also receiving a very good amount of sun rays. As you go away, far away from the equator, the amount of sun rays that you are receiving is reducing, and with that the climate of that place also changes. So if you are very near to the equator, then you will have tropical kind of climate. If you are away from equatorial kind of climate, then you will have tropical kind of climate, and then if you are away from the tropics also, you will have a temperate kind of a climate, and away from that also you will have a Arctic kind of or Antarctic kind of or a very cold kind of climate. Okay, so now we come to the altitude. Altitude means the distance of a place from the sea level, the height of the place from the sea level. So as you go higher up from the sea level, the temperature falls. Okay, so as we move higher, the climate becomes cooler. There is for every higher, you go 1 kilometer high, the temperature fall is about 6 degrees. So this is called the lapse rate, and that is why hill stations, because they are much higher from the sea level, they are much cooler. from the places which are in plains or near the sea. Now the third factor is the distance from the sea. We know that the coastal areas have very moderate climate. That means neither it is very warm nor it is very cold. The temperature variation between the maximum and the minimum temperature is very less. So it would be of about 5 to 8 degrees, not more than that. So the highest would be 5 degrees or 8 degrees higher than the lowest temperature. And therefore the climate condition is moderate. So every time it becomes warmer, the sea, the water vapor rises up and you have a rainfall and the place cools down again. Next, so distance from the sea makes the climate of the areas which are near the sea very moderate. Okay. Next is winds. You know that there is a particular season for a particular kind of wind to blow, so which determine the climate of that place. Like seasonal winds which blow in India during July month, August, September, they are called the monsoon winds, and they blow from the southwestern side and they bring lots of rain to us. So this is why our climate is named after them. Okay, so they affect the climate of the place, and this happens everywhere. Every year these kinds of winds will be blowing at this particular time. So wind is one factor which determines the climate of the place. Next is the fifth one is human activities, which is come as the latest one. It is also responsible for the climate changes that are happening, and this is not in a good way. Okay, the first factor that has happened is industrialization. Because of lots of industries coming up, we are using, and also the lots of vehicles that we are using, we are burning fossil fuel, that is the fuel that is coming from coal and petroleum. Now all this fossil fuel, when it burns, it releases lots of carbon dioxide in the air. So this carbon dioxide, when it reaches the air, it forms a blanket. It is slightly higher than the other, it's like slightly heavier than the other gases. So it forms a kind of a blanket, and it absorbs all the heat that is coming from the sun. So when it starts absorbing all the heat from the sun, it makes the temperature of that place or of earth a little higher. Okay, so the earth is becoming little warmer day by day. This is the phenomena of global warming, and it is happening because of using of too much of fossil fuel due to the industrialization. Now due to industrialization, the second thing which happened was deforestation. We have, because our population has increased so much, so we have cleared lots of forest. So cutting down of forest is called deforestation, and when you have less trees, that means the carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere, there are less trees to absorb that carbon dioxide, which again means the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere rises up, and it leads to the greenhouse effect and the global warming. So these are the factors which are responsible for a climate of a place.